A $30,000 home was purchased here in Denver, Colorado, and in just little over a month was sold for $125,000 without doing really anything to it. Sound too good to be true? Woo! I'm sure it does. And today, if you stick through this video, I am going to play you the actual voicemail that changed everything, as I was a part of that transaction. Anyway, if you're into flipping houses, let's get going on the journey, and I'll share how that happened and how you can find those deals yourself. Now, I'm sure you have all heard or seen on TV these reality shows of home flippers getting these spectacular deals on all these houses, and whether how much they have done to the property or even how little they've done to the property in your eyes, they make this huge profit on this home. And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, can you really find those kinds of deals right now in this current market? Well, my answer is, of course you can. And I'm going to get into that right now and tell you how you can find these kinds of deals. First off, times have changed. I have been in this a long time, and now we have AI, you have Facebook ads, you have Google pay-per-clicks and all that other stuff. But then you also still have the foreclosure list that everybody chases, as well as those personal representative publishings as well. So there's a lot of ways to go about finding these deals. Now, the best way, in my opinion, that you can find these off-market properties is old school door knocking. Yes, I have made a living off of door knocking even to this very day. And one of the ways I go about this is I'm a real estate agent out here in the Denver area, and I'm always driving around, and I'll see a dumpster in a driveway, and right away I will look at that property. And usually when the dumpsters are out there, it's an older home anyway. So when I do see this, I'll pull over, I'll walk up to the house, and I will see what the people are doing with the property. Most of the time, or a good majority of the time, you'll have a landlord there that may have had a falling out with his tenant for no rents being paid, and so they're stuck cleaning out all the belongings. Or you may find that a family has inherited a home, so they're all there cleaning out the contents of the property as well. Now, why do situations like this result in good finds? Well, let's back up to the landlord example here. Now, when you pull up to a house with a dumpster and a landlord is there cleaning out the contents of the property, usually that person doesn't own many rental properties, and maybe it's even their first. They may be motivated already to sell that property because, number one, they didn't budget or expect to have to go through the eviction process, which is pretty costly and it takes some time. And then they had attorney fees, the loss of rents, and then also the mortgage payments that are needed to be made, along with any improvements to the home, because that tenant may not have taken care of that property anyway. So anyway, when I meet with them, I'll ask, what are you going to do with this house? Is this going to be for sale? And most of the time, they'll tell you what their intentions are. And some of the time, they'll just tell you they're fine, which is okay. It's a numbers game, right? But a lot of the time, they will say that they are ready to sell the property. And so I'll go in, I'll walk the property, and I will talk to them a bit. And again, I'm a licensed agent here in Denver, so I will give them their options of either going on the open market and what they're going to be up against as far as the repairs and things that the retail buyers will expect, or I will just tell them what kind of a cash offer I will give them with no commissions and no inspections and so forth, and also a quick closing. And usually at the end of the day, they'll opt for that quicker closing. Again, it's a fair deal for everybody. They don't have to go through what I call the retail side of it, get beat up on inspections, and wait possibly 30 days, if not longer, to close. Whereas they'll get a quick close in maybe a matter of days, and they can rid themselves of that property that caused them so much grief. Now let's look at a property where, say, a family has inherited a home and they're there cleaning this property out. This is a completely different negotiation. There's a lot of emotions, and a lot of the time, these deals take a little time. Again, I'll ask everyone there what they're going to do with the property, and a lot of the time on these deals, they don't want to be bothered right now. I mean, everyone is coming up to the door because of the public notices and so forth. So I'll just give them my card and just tell them if they ever decide to sell the property that I'm interested and so forth. And usually they will still allow me to go into the property and just take a look. So while I'm walking around, I'm trying to get a good feel for the whole situation. And usually in these deals, there's more than one sibling involved. So it gets a little tricky because one sibling wants to rent the house, one sibling wants to flip the place, and you have to just get everybody on the same page, which can take some time. But eventually down the road, they all get on the same page and realize that the best route is to sell the home. So anyway, these properties are spectacular deals. Now they do take some time, and they are very emotional, but the properties that are inherited, like the rental properties, all have that one thing in common. They are all properties that are usually older and outdated, usually need a lot of work. So that is where those good finds are. And again, they're off market, and it's a numbers game. You've got to walk around a bit, knock on a lot of doors, but those deals are out there. So how are we able to find a property for $30,000 in the market that we have been here in the Denver area? Well, it was very interesting to say the least. I had a call one day from a friend of mine that said I needed to go look at this property. She said the windows were boarded up, trees all over the roof and the lawn, and basically the property looked condemned. So I drove by the house, and I got as close as I felt like I could to examine everything. I searched the address through some due diligence of mine, and I found the attorney that was handling this property. I called the attorney and said that I was interested in purchasing this property at this address and so forth, and to give me a call if the family wanted to sell. Anyway, after a couple of phone calls with that attorney, one day I got this voice message.
Hey, Dave, this is Joe. Spoke to. She's got an offer of $15,000 for house. I cannot believe that. If you can't do better than that, don't call back.
So yes, the attorney called, and those investors offered $15,000 for that house. I called the attorney back, talked to him a little bit, and to end the conversation, I just said, well, maybe we'll just double that if interested, but just let me know. And again, there was a lot of hesitation because this property, we had no idea. We didn't go inside. It just looked like it needed to be pushed in. And basically the value was just for the land that all of us could see. Anyway, he called back a day later, and he said the family was ready to take the offer because of everything they had going on. They were out of state and so forth, and they just didn't want to deal with the house anymore. So a few weeks later, we closed on the property. We broke the door in because it was the only way to get in, and there was trash to the ceiling. It was a hoarder house. None of the plumbing worked. It was a complete disaster. So we went and ordered our dumpsters, and after 12 30-yard dumpsters later, we cleaned this property out, and we put a new roof on it, and we did a few other things. Anyway, we were into that property with all said and done. At that time, a month later, around $50,000. We called an investor up that I work with, and that next month, he turned around and purchased that same property for $150,000. And so we made a quick profit just in a month, as you can see, and all because we made that phone call to try to track the owners of that property down. Now, this is why I'm telling you guys, those deals are still out there. Now, you're not going to find those all over the place, but just by being persistent, staying at it, you will find those kinds of deals out in any market that you're in. Now, what do you need to do to get those deals? You need to hit the pavement. You need to develop a rapport with some real estate agents, go around to investor meetings. And if you look on Facebook and so forth, there's a lot of investment groups out there, and you can network with these other investors. And you may think these investors are competition and so forth. That's far from the truth. A lot of investors that I work with, just like in my previous example that I sold that house to, there are properties that even that investor won't buy for one reason or another. Maybe it's structural problems. Maybe there's too much trash in it, like the house I just told you about. And so make sure you network with investors and just keep getting yourself out there. Get on Facebook. Let everybody know what you do. Stay top of mind. And when somebody next time is talking to, say, a friend of theirs, and they may have a house they don't know what to do with, maybe they inherited it, they're going to remember that you're an investor, and so they're going to give you a call. And again, that's where the great deals are. Now, there are great deals in about any market that we're in, and if you just stick with it, you're going to find some spectacular deals out there. Now, they may not be like the story I just told you about, but there are plenty of deals out there that you're going to be able to make some good money off of. And by doing more and more of this, you'll eventually make a great living. Now, I've been in this real estate world for about 30 years, and there's nothing better than the hunt for the next deal. And I've had a lot of fun through all those years, and I just want to tell you, it's a great, great business, but it is not easy. So get out there and hit the pavement. And if you have any comments on any of this, please leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear all your input about all this. And also, I'll leave my link down below too if you would like to reach out and connect about investing in real estate, or if you need help analyzing or partnering on a deal. I would love to speak to you anytime.